Hello again. This is my second video, and as I'm very new to the community, I thought I would try doing a whisper video and also a softly spoken video. I have really no illusions that necessarily anybody is going to be listening to any of the videos that I post. I'm kind of coming out of nowhere in an already fairly saturated field of whisperers and speakers, but nevertheless, if anyone is watching these or listening to them, as the case may be, I would love some feedback on which sounds better. You think the whispering voice or the softly spoken voice? I've never really been a big fan of the sound of my own voice. I have acted before, never especially well, and I cringe whenever I hear my voice on video or hear it on an answering machine, something like that. It always seems a little too, I don't know, high-pitched or sibilant or, I don't know, cowardly or something, if a voice can sound cowardly. But, nevertheless, my job entails a decent amount of talking, and one could even say that I get paid to talk, essentially, so it's a little bit unfortunate that I'm not such a fan of my voice. Anyway, that said, all self-deprecation aside, my first video was a whisper of a poem by Matthew Arnold that I adore, and I would like now to do a softly spoken reading of a poem by my favorite poet, and that's Walt Whitman. Excuse me, Walt Whitman. And Whitman is an amazing poet to read. He's, especially if you're the kind of person who thinks that you don't like poetry, Whitman is a really great place to start. He does not use very strict structure or form in his poems. They're filled with lush, natural imagery, imagery of the body, imagery of the heart, imagery of the world around us. Whitman loved the common man. He loved the companionship of humanity. He was the kind of person that would find such richness and such enjoyment from just taking a ferry from Staten Island to Manhattan and sitting among people that he had never met before and looking at their faces and realizing that he was one of them, that they were all companions in this voyage, that all of them were sharing a space, that all of them shared a humanity, and that even if they didn't actually know one another, that there was a beauty in that connection. His poems are life-affirming and joyous. Sometimes they're body, overtly sexual. Whitman's magnum opus, Leaves of Grass, has actually been banned on various times in various municipalities throughout America, and I would imagine the world. But it stands as really one of the great, if not the greatest, contribution to American poetry of the 19th or really any century. And this is a poem that I quite like. I think it provides a nice counterpoint to the Arnold poem that I read before. And it's called A Woman Waits for Me. A woman waits for me. She contains all, nothing is lacking. Yet all were lacking, if sex were lacking, or if the moisture of the right man were lacking. Sex contains all, bodies, souls, meanings, proofs, purities, delicacies, results, promulgations, songs, commands, health, pride, the maternal mystery, the seminal milk. All hopes, benefactions, bestowals, all the passions, loves, beauties, delights of the earth, all the governments, judges, gods, followed persons of the earth. These are contained in sex as parts of itself and justifications of itself. Without shame, the man I like knows and avows the deliciousness of his sex. Without shame, the woman I like knows and avows hers. Now, I will dismiss myself from impassive women. I will go stay with her who waits for me, and with those women that are warm-blooded and sufficient for me. I see that they understand me and do not deny me. I see that they are worthy of me. I will be the robust husband of those women. They are not one jot less than I am. They are tanned in the face by shining suns and blowing winds. Their flesh has the old divine suppleness and strength. They know how to swim, row, ride, wrestle, shoot, run, strike, retreat, advance, resist, defend themselves. They are ultimate in their own right. They are calm, clear, well possessed of themselves. I draw you close to me, you women. I cannot let you go. I would do you good. I am for you, and you are for me, and not only for our own sake, but for others' sakes. Enveloped in you sleep greater heroes and bards. They refuse to awake at the touch of any man but me. It is I, you women. I make my way. I am stern, acrid, large, indissuadable, but I love you. I do not hurt you any more than is necessary for you. I pour the stuff to start sons and daughters fit for these states. I press with slow, rude muscle. I brace myself effectually, listen to no entreaties. I dare not withdraw till I deposit what has been so long accumulated within me. Through you I drain the pent-up rivers of myself. In you I wrap 1,000 onward years. On you I graft the grafts of the best beloved of me and America. The drops I distill in you shall grow fierce and athletic girls, new artists, musicians, and singers. The babes I beget upon you are to beget babes in their turn. I shall demand perfect men and women out of my love-spendings. I shall expect them to interpenetrate with others as I and you interpenetrate now. I shall count on the fruits of the gushing showers of them as I count on the fruits of the gushing showers I give now. I shall look for loving crops from the birth, life, death, immortality I plant so lovingly now. So, Whitman, as I said before, often wrote poems that were overtly sexual, and this was certainly no exception to that. But it's not pornographic, obviously. It's very beautiful. It celebrates the singularity of human physical connection. How beautiful and passionate and pure and important a connection that is. In a time when intimacy between people, and I don't just mean sex, I mean real vulnerability and intimacy between two people is devalued. It's not something that, certainly that our popular culture seems to hold up as being especially important. Whitman reminds us about just how powerful and how important this sense of closeness and intimacy is. And he admonishes us to find that in our lives, to embrace such a connection, to go forth and populate and have a zest for life. And I think that's all any of us can do. So thank you again for listening.